Okay. Today I would like you to meet the 3 new virtual pharma assistants by BASF. That is My Product World, Rexcellence, and ZoomLab. All of them are accessible through your regular web browser. So you do not need to install any additional software to use them. You do not need to have, let's say, a sophisticated technology setup. In best case, you use Google Chrome. However, it will also work with Safari or Microsoft Edge. The registration for their services is free of charge, which is by no means a statement about their quality. In fact, they are quite smart and they can ease your daily routines in pharmaceutical purchasing, in pharmaceutical regulatory or analytical formulation quite a lot. So let's have a closer look. Starting with My Product World. My Product World is a comprehensive product and compendial overview. With this digital tool, you have access to product information, technical documents, brochures, or scientific posters, which you can download at any time. Well, My Product World doesn't just offer information, but it allows you to even order samples of the respective products online 24/7. To find what you are actually looking for, you can use a powerful search tool, allowing you to search for a brand name, a chemical name, a CAS number, or even by functionality. My Product World is customer-centric, and it gives you contextual feedback to allow you an even better browsing experience every time you revisit the tool. Rexcellence is the next virtual pharma assistant in the line and is designed mainly for colleagues with positions in regulatory or purchasing. Here, you will find comprehensive compliance information. You can instantly download regulatory and quality documents such as product-specific allergen statements, BSE-TSE statements, nitrosamine statements, site commitment statement, GMP statements, kosher halal statements, etc. If you wish, you can activate a push notification, and in case there is any update to the documents you have downloaded, you will be notified automatically. Further, you can use self-service for customized document creation, for example, LOAs or CEPs. Rexcellence is seamlessly connected to the other assistant, and you can enjoy the same powerful search function we were talking about while discussing My Product World. The third digital assistant is ZoomLab. ZoomLab is a very powerful scientific tool predicting pharmaceutical formulations for the active you want to formulate and the targeted dosage profile. Using ZoomLab, you can eliminate pre-formulation trial and error while retaining API confidentiality at any time. All formulations suggested by ZoomLab are based on scientific algorithms to deliver the optimal result for your projects. Of course, ZoomLab doesn't just give you a list of ingredients you may need for your formulation, but it also provides a detailed processing instruction. So let's have a more detailed look at ZoomLab. When you load ZoomLab in your web browser and you're logged in, you will come to this page you can see here. Here on the left side, you can see the excipient database, where you can find and search for excipient with a searching functionality. For example, you're looking for an emollient, a dry binder, a wet binder, a disintegrant, and so on. You can find the product and you can find more information about it. Again, this is seamlessly linked to the other assistants, allowing you to download technical and regulatory information and even order a sample of the excipient right away. Right below, there is the formulation database. And in the formulation database, you will find frequently formulated actives or formulations of frequently formulated actives. So let's say common projects. You can add both the excipient and the formulations onto your personal favorite list, which is right here below, to be able to find again what you were looking for at an earlier point in time. So this is very specific to your particular login, and this is your private personal favorites list. Well, so far, I have just showed you digital databases with some additional features, which are nice to use. But what I have promised you is a really smart assistant. And the really smart part starts with the formulation wizard. And this is what you can find here on the right side. So let's go through and start a formulation. When starting a formulation, you will need to enter some project details. You can give the project a name to find it later on in your stored project list. You need to tell the system what dosage form you're looking for, what release kinetics you're looking for, the category of the dosage form, and probably you want to have a film coating of the tablet or the substrate. In this case, I have selected a tablet for an instant release. It's a conventional tablet, so no effervescent tablet or something specific, but just a conventional tablet. I click here on Next. And here on Next, I need to define the dose of the active ingredient. So in this case, I would say we want to have a 400 milligrams active content in a 500 milligrams tablet. I want to have a tensile strength of 1.5 of the tablet, reflecting the hardness of the tablet. If you are not sure about some of the parameters which are requested here, you can click on the question mark, and then there will be a detailed description of the parameter which is asked for, and you will get some hints where you can get this value and how you can get that. So clicking on Next, the system would ask you for true density, D90 value, solubility and FASF, for example. So you can enter those values manually if you have them available for your particular active, but you can also go here to a list of active ingredients and you can select some of the standard actives being already implemented in the system. This list is, of course, a list which keeps growing, and we keep adding new actives to the list to allow you an even better experience. In this case, I have decided to formulate an ibuprofen 70 delivered by BASF. Then I can click here on Load Data, and the whole data requested are filled in automatically. So I do not need to do anything, but just select my active and click on Load Data. All the data are filled, and then I click on Next. And then the system tells me that the active ingredient is assigned to DCS class 1. DCS is developability class, and this developability class tells me basically if the values I have entered so far for my particular active and the particular dose in my dosage form are well suitable, and I can go ahead with the prediction. You get a lot of additional formulations, and well, you can read them through, but you can also just click on Next to come closer to your final formulation. Well, again, I have selected ibuprofen and loaded some additional data required for a scientific prediction. We have here some values about the particle size distribution, the true density, bulk density. So those are typical values which you have available. Further, the system tells you about structural features and functional groups of the active ingredient. In this case here, for example, we have an acidic group, which is part of the ibuprofen molecule, which could cause some problems later on, or it is, or the system, let's say, reflects potential incompatibilities and warns you if one of your ingredient may harm the stability of your active. Then you get some additional hints, like the active is slightly sensitive to heat, it is not sensitive to hydrolysis, it's slightly sensitive to light and oxidation. Clicking here on Next, I come to the list of excipients I would allow for my formulation. So here we have all excipients based on lactose, based on cellulose, based on calcium phosphate, and all others. I can select all. Then all these excipients are considered by the development of my formulation. And this is, of course, something we would recommend. However, sometimes you have certain limitations. Maybe you do not want to use lactose for a certain reason, or you do not want to use cellulose. So you can then exclude them here from the list, and the system will not consider them in the prediction of your formulation. I would then here go on select all. So all these excipients are selected. And by the way, what you find here in this list of excipients, and ZoomLab is working with all these excipients, are not just BASF excipients. Here we have also Perlitol, we have Tabletose, we have Avicel, so products of supplier, but not other suppliers, but not BASF. Anyways, I have selected all of them, allowing all of them to be part of my formulation. I click on next, and then the system tells me I have 33 potential formulations identified. And then down here, you will get a list of the respective formulations with a certain rating. So here we have the rating for processability, tabletability, compatibility, and a total score. This total score is basically what you probably know when shopping at Amazon. So at Amazon, you will also find the score rating, and a product which is very well rated will probably get a 5-star rating, and a product which is not very well rated will probably have a 1 or 2-star rating. So our formulation for the desired active in our specific case, so we want to have an instant release tablet, conventional tablet without a coating at the moment, would get a 4-star rating. Then we can see all the other formulations, and it goes down. So we have here the option to select all the formulations out of the 33 suggested formulations. I've selected the best one, the first one with the best total score, and click here on next step. And what I can see here now is a list of ingredients. So the formulation I would ask the system for. So I have here the list of excipients, ibuprofen 70, Avicel, pH 102 from Dupont. We have Colidone VS64 fine and Colidone CLS as a disintegrant, and sodium stearyl fumarate as a lubricant. And again, here you can see how the systems are interlinked. So you can download some product information about the respective BASF products, and you can order a sample right away. You can enter your batch size here, so the size of the batch you want to produce, and the system would then calculate here the respective amount of the respective excipients you need to weigh in. But as promised, it's not just a list of excipients, but you also get a detailed manufacturing instruction. So here we have the first step, which is pre-blending. Then we have a deagglomeration, sieving step. We have a blending step. We have a lubrication step. So all the different steps are described in detail here. Well, finally, you have the tabletting step. So this is the ideal case. So you enter your active, you select your active from the list, or you enter the properties of the active yourself. You go through the process and you will get the formulation. However, it's not always possible to have a formulation for the desired profile. Let's say I want to formulate a paracetamol with, let's say, a dose of 500 milligrams, and I allow the tablet to be 510 milligrams only, then of course the amount of excipients is not sufficient to get a suitable tablet or a proper process at the end. So in this case, the system tells you, well, there is no direct compression formulation identified, but it is giving you some options to further proceed to still come to a suitable formulation. This is, for example, select different excipients. So in case you have excluded certain excipients in the list, which is considered by this scientific tool, then you can go back to step 6. You can improve the processability, you can adjust your target profile, or you can select a different dosage form, and then probably you will get a better result and you will come to the formulation we have seen before. Now, this was a quick run through of the options we have for direct compression. Of course, there are other modules as well. So here, I would like to give you a quick example of a film coating, how a film coating project would look like. Again, I start the visit for film coating. I have a pharmaceutical supply chain conference project 1 here. My dosage form is a tablet. I want to have an enteric coating around. I'm having single unit tablets with an enteric coating, and then I click on next. Again, I need to select my active ingredient from the list, or I can, of course, also just tell the system what functional features I have in my active, and I can say again whether there are certain sensitivities. Then I click on next, and again I have selected ibuprofen 70 for my trials. It tells me automatically that there are some acidic groups in the molecule causing potential problems in the further processing. I click again on next, and then it tells me tablets with enteric coating is possible. The active ingredient is not sensitive to hydrolysis, but slightly sensitive to oxidation. I accept that. And then I have the option to define my coating process a bit more in detail. So I can say, like, do I want to have an aqueous coating process only, or an aqueous coating process preferred? Or do I want to allow organic coating as well? So in this case, I can make here my respective selection. I can make statements about the equipment I'm using. Here I have a perforated pan coater, but I can also go for a solid wall. I can tell about the manufacturing scale. I can talk about the laboratory scale or pilot production scale. I can make some statements about the storage and transportation conditions of the raw materials. So I would be able to guarantee a storage between 5 to 30 degrees Celsius, or I cannot guarantee that. And that would influence the particular grade of the polymer you would need for an enteric coating. I can select whether I want to have pigments and color in the formulation. And then finally, I can select whether I want to have an optimized formulation for the shortest possible processing time, or I can select I do not want the shortest possible process time. I don't mind. I don't have any restrictions here. Then I can go for a conventional formulation as well. But of course, as I know that time always matters, I went here for the shortest possible processing time. Clicking on next, I can make some statements about my tablet. So I give the dimensions of my tablet, diameter 10, and then the surface area of the tablet is, or the individual tablet is calculated automatically. I can say the batch size I want to coat. In this case, I have decided to coat 2.5 kilos, and then the total surface area is calculated, which is required for the next step. The next step is the coating formulation itself. So here we find the film-forming polymer, the enteric polymer. In this case, it is Colycoat MAE 30dP, so it's a 30% dispersion, which I can again get information and order a sample. I have TEC as a plasticizer, water as a solvent, the total solid content, and is calculated here as well. So I have the different weight fractions, and I have the different amounts I need to weigh in for my coating batch. I'm told that the coating level of functional polymer is 4 milligram per square centimeter, and the total solids applied, including the plasticizer, is 4.6 milligram per square centimeter. Again, I get very detailed descriptions of the process I need to run. So here it starts with the polymer dispersion, then I have dilution of and addition of the plasticizer. I need to pass it through a sieve. I need to preheat the coater. All the respective temperatures are given here, all the parameters you need to fill your system or your control panel with. And then finally, the coating process. Well, and of course, it doesn't just stop with the instructions for the coating process, but I do also have cleaning instructions. So coating with a functional polymer typically causes some, let's say, specific hints you would need for the cleaning. And also here, the tool takes you by the hand and guides you through the cleaning process. In our case, we have Colycoat MAE, which is stable in acidic media, but not stable in neutral or basic environment. So we can best clean it with a cleaning agent, which is neutral or slightly alkaline. So all the statements are made here, and then you will be guided through the whole process. So there is nothing to worry about. Well, then I can click on finish, and all the projects are stored in my database. Well, I hope I could give you at least a glimpse of what our system is capable to deliver and how it can support you with your daily routines. The system is really easy to use, and you will be guided through every single step, and you will get very detailed descriptions of what you need to do. Of course, there are many more specifics I could talk about, and many more, let's say, pro features. But I think for a talk of 15 to 20 minutes, this would be far too much, and I think you would probably be bored. If you still wish, I can offer you a one-to-one deep dive session at a later point in time where we can go through all the specific options the tool offers. As I mentioned before, you can get your own personal account free of charge, granting you access to our personal virtual assistants. All you need to do is you need to register at zoomlet.com, ideally with your company's ID rather than having a Gmail, Hotmail, or Yahoo ID. So here, the company's ID would accelerate the process significantly. And please bear a little bit with us as we have a lot of requests or registration requests, and we process them all manually. So there is a human behind and granting access to the system, checking whether this is a valid request. And then all this is done by colleagues, so humans, and this probably takes a bit of time, but don't worry, everyone with a particular email address will get access to the tool. So this is the last slide of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer your questions, and I'm looking forward to welcome many of you as new users to our 3 new virtual pharmaceutical assistants. Thanks a lot.